Charlotte? Hello? Charlotte? Can you hear me? Are you still on vacation? Hello? Hey, I have your favorite sweet stuff here. Never mind, I'm just guessing. I have to fix my microphone here. Well, she's Aquarius, so I bought her a cake for her birthday, but all that sunshine at Turk and Caicos is too seductive for her to come home. I actually wonder if I'm ever going to see her again. Well, I actually got strawberry ice cream for myself, and I don't really know what is this with February that I'm eating sugary food like there is no tomorrow. No candles, but hey, it's an episode number 50. So yeah, as you may already know, I worked on Beast Games last summer, which was shot in the Bombardier hangars at Downsview Airport in Toronto. It was only then that I had a revelation and realized how the internet had changed everything. Although internet and I are actually the same age, it is only now that it's really taking over the media landscape. To be honest, I'm not going to lie. I don't watch Mr. Beast's content. It is for younger people, but that cannot take away his power as probably the biggest YouTube star ever. So yes, internet killed the TV almost completely. I haven't watched television in almost 30 years now. The TV magic for me disappeared when I lost access to my family's white old Telefunken. Nobody remembers Telefunken anymore, but yeah. The one on which I watched many great movies in my early years. Later, while living in France, I got introduced to Minitel and, French technology that somehow predated web as we know it. Oh yes, there will be an episode about it soon, but the internet changed everything. I'm just that right generation who lived while the computer technology was emerging. Internet as we don't know it is actually my age. Xers grew together with technology, and that's why we probably appreciate it the most. Kids are taking it for granted. Kids are also not playing outside anymore. We got best of everything, climbing trees, fighting in a schoolyard, and loading games from an audio tape. Google Podcasting app is no more, so now for me it's typically podcasts on YouTube Music channel or Spotify, and both are great, I have to say. There are other platforms, but I barely have time for this. And so now these are my randomly organized categories. I'm not going to give you anything related to sport, fashion, or general gossip because those are the news I will only need if somehow I stumble upon it and there is something somehow interesting there. But we both know that rarely happens. Jailed hip-hop stars and devious millionaires are not my cup of tea. I don't engage with big politics analysis either. I mostly silently ridicule those who are squinting eyes while speculate about things they cannot reach or understand, for that matter. We tend to say that people today are staring in their screens all the time. Well, in TV era, we did the same, sometimes alone, a lot of times together with friends or family. So what has changed is the fact that today we're solo consumers. And that is not a problem. The problem is that we are less and less creating good content and consume more and more, unfortunately, mediocre or simply bad products. Listen, I have other interests like archaeology, anthropology, both. Anything Navy or sailing related, motorcycles, Super G, WRC, and racing in general, but not early enough to put them on a list, mostly because I couldn't find that one source of information in about a particular subject that would keep me there for a while at least. Sure, I watched Weaponized like there is no tomorrow, but it was more like a crush than a dedicated love story. Today I almost forgot about it. I was just like revisiting like UFO episodes, so that's why I came back to that. But other than that, I probably forgot about it. Many channels come and go, so I only pick some of those I engage with, and that's why I'm selective. First, the one thing I care the least is the news. Again, I don't watch TV, but I still watch some news online. Like Deutsche Welle is okay. I love it. I think that, like, Germans are really great. But sometimes I can barely breathe because of the dryness and the length of material presented. French channels are actually something I'm most familiar with, and I admit it, anything UK is okay. I watch both BBC and Sky, and also I listen to Telegraph on YouTube and other podcasting platforms. I forgot about CNN a long time ago. Very likely after that period, I was glued to a television during the Desert Storm. Many more as well, but all of it is briefly and strictly on YouTube. However, if it wasn't for aggression in Ukraine, I probably wouldn't follow any of them. And the only Canadian channel worth watching is TVO, especially documentaries. So no big competition here. For me, BBC is a clear winner. History, yeah. In this dream world of quickly patched content from obvious sources and the pervasive usage of audio AI narration, there is a lack of high-quality, genuine online history content. I have a strong interest in politics, economics, and World War II, and TIK gave me all of that while maintaining objectivity and realism. And this young man saw it all and immediately realized that we should always ask questions and never take something at face value. His trademark query is this really the case? Summed up his skepticism towards commonly accepted quotation mark truths. Also, another one, Fall of Civilization is my other favorite, but I think it's on Spotify. For me, it's nearly ideal. There are undoubtedly many more, but I must remain selective, as I have said, Architecture. Well, if you want to nerd out on architecture, I can totally see you following Demi Lee. She's witty, knowledgeable, and her presentations are more than educational. I actually have to restrain myself for overwatching her videos. Not only that she's an architect, but her cross-references on pop culture, especially comics, movies, and science fiction, are fulfilling my primal needs. And her channel is Fajane, and you can check it out on YouTube or her website, demilee.com. Yes, cybersecurity. My obsession, like, for a while now. It's all good and great with CyberWire by N2K, but I do prefer David Bombal. Of course, there are a ton of other fantastic cybersecurity channels, but this year I'm picking David due of his fantastic material professional attire, clear and understandable communication abilities, and well-articulated voice. Yes, David, you are the man. Space and science in general. Well, this is tricky. Yes, there are too many to list, and I won't pick Neil deGrasse Tyson or the Aussie superstar from PBS Spacetime because there are so many other great underdogs out there. If I have to choose one person to give me the most, it's Mr. Anton Petrov, my favorite science guy and a great man from Ukraine who lives in South Korea. And I will also mention Mr. John Michael Gautier, who deserves honorable mention, and I will definitely keep him in mind for 2025 nomination. Well, Ukraine, of course. I got most of my news from Enforcer, but Artur Rehi was my guy for a while. Again, there are too many to mention, but I'm just giving you an example of what I have consumed the most in 2024. I would say that Enforcer turned out to be the fastest growing surprise online, covering daily everything from Ukrainian front lines. They're literally competing for attention with big channels, turning them to reputable category of semi-pros. Occasionally, yes, they get on my nerves with their general ignorance of other cultures, but that's what to expect from young tactical wannabe nerds. The Kiev Post suggests that the Enforcer channel and former CIA director and retired U.S. Army General David Petraeus quoted its work. So it must be there something. Naval Affairs, yes. I follow this naval history channel, but I can't find it at all because I moved my data between computers. It will ultimately show up, but in the meantime, allow me to introduce you to another excellent source of knowledge. Anders Pak Nielsen, a Danish military analyst, naval warfare expert, and Navy captain in the Royal Danish Defence College, is my most recent find. Additionally, he speaks English so well that it took me some time to realize he is not a native speaker. Remember, Anders Puck Nielsen, all right? All right, guns, 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 more guns. Well, both Forgotten Weapons and Garen Thumb. I love both podcasts, but due of the completely different strategies these individuals are using, I was unable to make a clear decision. Although FW is somehow more traditional and serious, it is by no means dull. GT, on the other hand, is incredibly amusing. You will have a solid understanding of both the background stories and ballistic trends if you watch both. I would never go hunting. I'm telling you, I think hunting is... No, I'm not going to go there. It's politics. All right. But I do adore weapons, and I love pa, 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 or shoot on a shooting range, of course. All you have to do is picture the face of your least favorite boss, mother-in-law, or similar figure. Favorite? Well, I told you about my favorite channel, but certainly not AK. I had enough of it. I'm totally unable to decide. Ultimax, Echelon 9mm, Taurus Judge Public Defender 410, SPAS 12, ZIG, SSG 69. Too many to pick from. Never mind. Food. Okay, now you might say I'm being ridiculous and that there are way better channels out there. But guess what? Sex kind of sells, and Pasta Queen is doing that in the most innocent way. The spicy and funny lady actually knows how to cook. Her family has been making pasta and wine in their factory in Rome and South Italy since forever, and they're better known as the Macaronis. I really enjoy her shows, although I also watch Vincenzo Plate with passion. I mean, listen, Indian food is cool, or actually hot. Chinese is adventurous. Thai and Mexican are great. I love it, but I'm not going to eat it on a daily basis. And Italian? Madonna. That is something I cannot get enough. And it's not just pizza. Actually, almost sick and tired of pizza. I worked in many Italian restaurants from Top Notch with OG, Pizzaiolos from Bari and Napoli, and also worked in franchise pizza places with less than mediocre quality approach. Also, I've been cooking since I was 12, and I'm certified Navy cook, so I like to believe I know a thing or two about food. So I'm going to tell you, Pasta Queen is awesome, just like you. Well, we can't avoid this. Mental health. I mean, seriously. All right. So if you're interested in mental health, Healthy Gamer is a way to go if you're willing to help yourself. This young gentleman is not only a top-notch specialist in his field, but also compassionate and super fun human being who doesn't deny that he enjoys life as everyone should. He has a down-to-earth, no BS approach, and whoever watches him only once never regret it. So put your addictions and anxieties in a vault, watch The Healthy Gamer, and start living life. Also, when it comes to popular psychology in general, there's plenty to listen to, from Andrew Bustamante to Jordan Peterson. The sky is the limit. Crypto. All right, crypto. My favorite girl, Crypto Casey, is the only channel you need to watch if you're as ignorant about fintech as I am in order to gain a better understanding of it. It doesn't make much sense for me to even attempt to explain her channel, but trust me, I don't usually say that. She is fantastic. She's funny, vibrant, and incredibly competent. My friend Dan Monaco is another excellent source of crypto information, but because his channel is currently almost inactive, I'm forced to rely on what I can learn from him when I meet him. In any case, if you want to take control of your cryptocurrency management, check out Crypto Casey. Comedy. Okay. What better way to patch your mental health than watching a great comedy? We should all stop doom scrolling. I mean, totally, and just engage with some crazy, funny content. First thing in the morning. That would be my mental health advice to you, and regular exercise, of course. When I don't get my usual fix of political incorrectness, I think you know me by now, right? While watching a Family Guy, I usually turn to Queen Doll. And speaking of comedians, for the end, I have to say, there are so many talented, potty-mouthed comedians out there. But this wokeness madness is constantly trying to castrate them, and I can totally imagine a lot of possible talents backing up out of fear of being publicly crucified and canceled. Anyways, I promised myself to stick with one comedian, at least for this year only. There you have it. In 2023, if my podcast was around, I would probably choose Gabriel Iglesias, better known as Fluffy. In 2022, it would still be Russell Peters, and so on. Also, the category for 2025 is, believe it or not, already taken. Unless a miracle happens, it already belongs to Leonardo Johnny. I hope she doesn't get smoked by some purple-headed nutcase because she's hilarious. And for the end, I have to say, although I think Joe Rogan accomplished a lot of good for podcasters and the public worldwide, I no longer see him the same way since his statement about a nuclear danger in Ukrainians. And although I wish him well, his remarks were just a little inappropriate in my humble opinion. The giant red machine has always been seen as a threat by those of us who grew up in Eastern Europe, both geographically and mentally. No one wants to see tankers bringing so-called real ideals across our borders, even if they threaten us with nuclear weapons. In small, defenseless nations like Estonia, the Czech Republic, or Croatia, for example, I don't want to witness Bucha situation again. Although history doesn't repeat itself, it does, as Mark Twain said, rhyme. You can smell the menace from the east when you're in Texas. The same is true of Friedman, yet for different reasons, primarily his naive insistence on brotherhood and evenly divided responsibilities. Although I am aware that these men have good intentions, it appears that we are not rooting for the same team, at least not anymore. So, good luck guys. I will still occasionally watch your channels, but I won't be doing it as frequently as I used to. How can we overlook the third musketeer working for the Orange Monster? He doesn't actually podcast, but he shows up everywhere. Mr. Musk is an excellent salesman, a near good engineer, and a visionary in certain ways, but he is quickly reverting to his darker side and the retaliation that comes with the territory because of his feud with the former U.S. administration. However, with or without him, I still hope we make it to Mars. It's never black and white though, because all of these people assisted me in a way. And that was my decision for 2024, and I genuinely hope that you will find more, if not better, audio and video casts. Choose only the best, and stay selective. Bye-bye.